Virgo, stop. Stop whatever you are doing and feel the ground beneath your feet. Do you feel it? That subtle but unmistakable tremor? That is not an earthquake in the geological sense. That is the vibration of a cosmic scale tipping. That is the sound of divine justice, finally. After all these years, after all the tears, after all the calculated blows you absorbed in silence, descending like a sword that has been sharpened on the whetstone of heaven itself. There is a narcissist in your story. You know exactly who I am talking about. The name that just ignited behind your eyes like a match struck in a dark room. The face that haunts the edges of your memory, not because you still love them, but because the damage they did was so precise, so surgical, so spiritually violent that the scars still whisper on quiet night. And Virgo, I am here to tell you, with every ounce of prophetic authority that flows through this channel, that this person is facing their karma right now. Not tomorrow, not someday, not in the vague, distant future where bad people theoretically get what they deserve. Right now, in this exact season, in this exact hour, the God who watched every step of your journey, who saw every stone they threw in your path, who counted every lie they told to slow you down, has risen from his throne of mercy and is now seated on the throne of judgment. And the lesson he is teaching them is not a gentle reprimand, it is a demolition. Before we walk through the ruins of what is happening to them and the palace that is being built for you, if your spirit just leaped, if your hands just went hot, if you feel the vindication of the divine coursing through your veins like liquid fire, then anchor yourself here. Support this channel by liking this transmission, subscribing, and leaving your mark in the comments below. These messages are spiritual intelligence briefings, Virgo. They find the exact soul who has been waiting for the confirmation that God does not sleep, and your engagement keeps this frequency blazing for every other Virgo who needs to know that their sabotage has been seen. There is more revelation coming through, and the weight of it will settle every restless bone in your body. Now, the narcissist. Let me tell you what God has shown me, because what I see is not gossip, it is not speculation, it is the live broadcast of a soul being weighed in the balances and found wanting. This person did not simply hurt you. They did not just break your heart or wound your pride. They went after your journey, your purpose, your divine assignment. They looked at the path that God had laid before you, the calling that was stitched into your spirit before you were born, and they made a conscious, deliberate, repeated decision to obstruct it. They sabotaged your relationships because your connections were the network through which your purpose would flow. They sabotaged your finances because your resources were the fuel for your mission. They sabotaged your reputation because your name was the banner under which your work would be recognized. They sabotaged your peace because a peaceful mind is a powerful mind, and your power threatened the illusion of their own grandeur. Every time you were about to level up, they found a way to trigger a crisis. Every time you were about to break through, they manufactured a distraction. Every time God opened a door for you, they were standing in the hallway with a lie, a doubt, a carefully planted seed of destruction designed to make you hesitate just long enough for the door to close. They were not just toxic, Virgo. They were strategic. They were a spiritual assignment of opposition, sent not by God but allowed by God, because the furnace of their betrayal was the very heat required to forge you into the weapon you have become. But furnaces have limits. and the narcissist has reached theirs. God had to teach them, Virgo. Not because God is cruel, but because God is just. And justice, when it is divine, does not merely punish. It educates. It strips away the illusions that a person has used to justify their cruelty. It forces them to drink from the same cup they poisoned for others. It holds a mirror so close to their face that they cannot help but see the monster they have been pretending was a victim. And right now, as I channel this energy, I see that mirror being held. I see the narcissist in a state of absolute spiritual emergency. Their world, which they constructed with such meticulous care, is imploding, not from external attack, not from bad luck, but from the internal pressure of their own karma finally exceeding the capacity of their denial to contain it. The lies they told about you are now the noose around their own neck. The bridges they burned to isolate you are now the walls of their own prison. The seeds of discord they planted in your garden have grown into thorn bushes that are now tearing at their own flesh. They are being taught, Virgo, taught by the only teacher they ever respected, consequence. I see the specifics of this lesson, and they are devastating in their precision. God is not random in his corrections. He is surgical. He targets the exact areas where the narcissists believe themselves untouchable. For some of you, this narcissist prided themselves on their intellect. They believed they were the smartest person in every room. They used their mind as a weapon, analyzing you, dissecting you, gaslighting you with arguments so twisted that you doubted your own sanity. And now, Virgo, their mind is betraying them. They are experiencing a cognitive fog so dense they cannot complete simple tasks. They are forgetting words mid-sentence. They are losing track of conversations. The sharpness they weaponized against you has been dulled by a divine anesthesia, and the terror of losing their mental edge is driving them into a panic that no amount of arrogance can suppress. They are being taught that the mind given by God is a stewardship, not a weapon, and that using it to destroy the innocent is a debt that accrues interest in the currency of sanity. For others, this narcissist prided themselves on their charm, their ability to seduce, to manipulate, to wrap people around their finger with a smile that hid a blade. They used their charisma to turn your friends against you, to recruit flying monkeys, to build an army of the misinformed who would carry out their dirty work while they maintained plausible deniability. And now, Virgo, their charm is curdling. People are seeing through them. The mask is slipping in public. They are saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Their jokes are landing flat. Their attempts at manipulation are being met with resistance they never anticipated. The very people they groomed to serve them are now looking at them with suspicion, then distaste, then open contempt. Their social circle is evaporating like water on hot stone. They are being taught that charisma without character is just a costume, and that the universe eventually demands to see what is underneath. For others, this narcissist prided themselves on their stability, their resources, their carefully curated image of success. They use their position to make you feel small, to remind you of your dependence, to dangle security like a carrot while they controlled the stick. And now, Virgo, their stability is cracking. Financial losses they did not foresee. Investments turning to dust. Reputational damage that no amount of PR can spin. The empire they spent years building is revealing itself to be a house of cards, and the wind that is blowing through it is the breath of God himself. They are being taught that wealth built on the backs of the broken is not blessed. It is borrowed. And the lender is calling in the debt. I want you to understand the spiritual mechanics of what is happening, Virgo, because your Virgo mind needs to see the blueprint. When a narcissist sabotages a divine journey, they do not merely injure a human being. They strike at the purpose of God. They become an obstacle between the Creator and the creation He designed to do specific work in the world. And while God allows free will, while He permits the temporary triumph of darkness so that the light can learn to shine brighter, He does not permit that obstacle to remain indefinitely. There comes a moment when the lesson is learned, when the servant has been sufficiently tested, when the gold has been sufficiently refined. And at that moment, God removes the obstacle, sometimes gently, by simply opening a door around it, sometimes dramatically, by reducing the obstacle to rubble. In this case, Virgo, God is doing both. He is elevating you beyond their reach, and He is dismantling the pedestal from which they threw stones at your ascent. The karma they are facing is not separate from your elevation. It is the other side of the same coin. Your rising is their falling. Your liberation is their confinement. Your clarity is their confusion. Not because you wished it, not because you prayed for their destruction, but because the physics of the spiritual realm demands that every action generates an equal and opposite reaction. They pushed against your destiny. The universe is now pushing back against theirs. I see them in my vision, Virgo. I see the narcissist in the present moment, and the image is seared into my third eye with a clarity that makes my own spirit recoil. They are alone, not physically alone, perhaps. They may be surrounded by people, but spiritually, they are in a desert, a wasteland of their own making. They are looking around at their life and realizing, with a horror that is only now beginning to penetrate their defenses, that everything they built was scaffolding designed to support a performance. And the performance is over. The audience has left. The critics have published their reviews. And the actor is standing on an empty stage, still in costume, holding a script that no longer makes sense. They are facing the void where their supply used to be, the admiration, the fear, the control, the constant humming validation that fed the emptiness inside them. It is gone. Not because you took it, not because anyone attacked them, but because God turned off the lights in the theater of their delusion, and in the darkness, they are finally seeing that the stage was always empty. The props were always fake. The crown they wore was always tin. And the only real thing in their entire existence was the hatred they felt for you, which was actually the inverted reflection of the love they could never allow themselves to feel. They are being humbled, Virgo. And humiliation is the narcissist's hell. They would rather die than be seen as ordinary. They would rather suffer in secret than admit fault in public. And God, in His infinite wisdom, is giving them exactly what they avoided their entire lives. Exposure. The truth about them is leaking. Not from your mouth, not from any revenge plot you orchestrated, but from the very seams of their constructed reality. People are talking, not the way they talked about you, with lies and whispers, but with facts, with observations, with the sudden collective realization that the emperor has no clothes, their former allies are distancing themselves, their enablers are developing boundaries, their flying monkeys are crashing. One by one, the people who participated in your sabotage are receiving their own lessons, because God does not only teach the ringleader, He teaches the entire circus. And the narcissist watching their kingdom of shadows dissolve, is experiencing a level of existential dread that no words can fully capture. They are learning that they are not God. They are not omnipotent. They are not above the law of sowing and reaping. They are a creature, a broken, wounded, terrified creature who chose destruction over healing and who is now being forced to swallow the harvest of every seed they planted in darkness. And Virgo, here's what will make you weep, though you may not want to. Beneath the karma, beneath the lesson, beneath the divine demolition of their false self, God is not destroying them. He is trying to save them. The karma they face is not a death sentence. It is an intervention. It is the spiritual equivalent of an addict hitting rock bottom. The loss of their supply, the collapse of their image, the isolation they are now experiencing, it is all designed to break through the fortress of their narcissism and touch the wounded child who lives inside. That child is the one who was hurt so badly, so early, that they decided never to feel again. That child is the one who built the narcissist as a suit of armor. And God, in his mercy, is stripping that armor away piece by piece, not to leave the child defenseless, but to finally give that child a chance to be held, to be healed, to be loved without the armor. The narcissist does not understand this yet. They think they are being punished by an angry God. They do not yet see that they are being rescued by a loving one, and they may not see it for a long time. They may never see it. But the opportunity for their redemption is being purchased with the currency of their collapse. And whether they take that opportunity or not is between them and their creator. Your part in this drama is over. You are not their savior, Virgo. You never were. You tried to be. You gave them chances that would exhaust a saint. You explained, you forgave, you adjusted, you diminished yourself, you swallowed your truth, you muted your intuition, all in the hope that if you just loved them enough, if you just understood them enough, if you just stayed patient enough, they would finally drop the mask and let you meet the person underneath. But the mask was not a disguise they wore. It was a prison they built, and no one can dismantle another person's prison from the outside. They have to want to walk out. And the narcissist, faced with the choice between the discomfort of growth and the comfort of delusion, chose delusion every single time. Until now. Now the delusion is being removed by force. Now the prison walls are cracking. Now the mask is shattering against the concrete of consequence. And you, Virgo, are watching from a distance, not with glee, but with the solemn, heavy peace of someone who has finally been vindicated by the only judge whose verdict matters. God saw everything, Virgo. Every lie they told about you. Every door they closed in your face, every opportunity they stole, every moment of joy they poisoned with their insecurity, every friendship they sabotaged, every dream they mocked, every boundary they violated, every time they looked at your light and instead of celebrating it, tried to snuff it out because it reminded them of their own darkness. God saw it all, and he wrote it down. Not in a book of vengeance, but in a book of truth. And now the pages of that book are being read aloud in the courtroom of their life. They are being forced to hear the evidence. They are being forced to confront the record. They are being forced to acknowledge, if only to themselves, in the privacy of their own unraveling, that they were wrong, that you were never the enemy, that your journey was never a threat to them, that your success did not require their failure, that there was always enough room for both of you to shine, but they chose to stand in front of your sun, because they could not bear the warmth of your light on their cold skin. The karma is teaching them about abundance, Virgo. They believed in scarcity. They believed that your gain was their loss. They operated from a paradigm of theft where love was a zero-sum game and the only way to feel full was to empty someone else. And now they are learning that the universe does not operate on theft. It operates on stewardship. The energy they stole from you is being recalled. The peace they disrupted is being restored to you with interest. The opportunities they blocked are being rerouted to your door with such speed and abundance that you will barely have time to process one blessing before the next arrives. And the narcissist is watching this happen. They are seeing your elevation. They are hearing about your success. They are feeling the vibration of your joy from a distance, and it is burning them. Not because you are flaunting it, not because you are seeking revenge, but because the contrast between your rising and their falling is the final lesson. It is the visual aid that accompanies their spiritual education. Look, God is saying, look at what happens when my child trusts me instead of fighting for the approval of a broken vessel. Look at what happens when my warrior stops trying to save the captor and starts walking toward freedom. Look at the difference between a journey I protect and a journey that opposes mine. You are untouchable now, Virgo. Not because you are perfect, not because you are without wounds, but because you have been sealed. The sabotage has failed. The attacks have been neutralized. The lies have been exposed. And the hand of God is now so visibly upon your life that only a fool would dare to reach for you again. The narcissist knows this deep in the place where their fear lives. They know that something has shifted. They know that the old tactics no longer work. They know that when they think of you now, they feel not the familiar contempt that made them feel powerful, but a trembling, primal recognition that they have messed with someone who was never alone. That you were never just a person. You were a purpose, a prophecy, a promise walking in human form. And they tried to kill a promise. They tried to abort a destiny. And no one does that without facing the wrath of the one who made the promise. Not the wrath of destruction, the wrath of education, the wrath of love so fierce it will demolish every lie to reach the truth. I want to speak to your healing, Virgo, because the karma of the narcissist, while satisfying to witness, is not the point. The point is your journey. The point is the road that God has cleared for you. The point is the future that is now rushing toward you with a velocity that matches the speed of their collapse. You have been delayed. You have been distracted. You have been wounded in ways that made you question whether you were even meant to walk this path. But the delay is over. The distraction has been removed. The wounds are becoming wisdom. And your journey is about to accelerate in ways that will make your head spin. The things that were blocked are now flowing. The people who were turned against you are returning with apologies. The resources that were diverted are being restored. The peace that was stolen is being returned with a depth you did not know existed. You are not just getting back what you lost. You are receiving what was always meant for you, plus the compensation for every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt they planted in your mind. God is not a God of breaking even. He is a God of multiplication, and the multiplication of your blessing begins now. You do not need to confront them, Virgo. You do not need to send the text that tells them you know. You do not need to post the victory that subtweets their downfall. You do not need to do anything except continue walking in the light that they tried to dim. Your silence is the verdict. Your peace is the punishment. Your success is the sentence. Every good thing that arrives in your life now is a nail in the coffin of their delusion. Every smile you wear is a witness against their narrative. Every step forward you take is evidence that their sabotage failed, that their lies were impotent, that their presence in your life was temporary, but your purpose is eternal. You are the living proof that God protects his own, and they are the living proof that God corrects those who oppose his own. Both of you are lessons now. You are the lesson of faithfulness. They are the lesson of consequence, and the classroom is the world. Stand tall, Virgo. Drop the burden of their karma. It is not yours to carry. You were never responsible for their healing. You were never capable of saving them. You were only ever responsible for obeying the voice that called you forward, and you have done that. You have obeyed through the pain. You have obeyed through the confusion. You have obeyed when every instinct screamed at you to turn back, to give up, to let them win. And God has seen your obedience. He has seen your faithfulness. He has seen the way you protected your journey even when you did not understand where it was leading. And now he is rising to your defense. Now he is settling the score. Now he is teaching your teacher. Let him work. Let the narcissist face what they have earned. Let the lesson unfold in the privacy of their own collapse. And you, my dear Virgo, keep moving, keep shining, keep building. Keep becoming the person that God always knew you could be, the person the narcissist feared, the person the world needs. The karma is real, the lesson is underway, the journey is protected, and you, Virgo, are finally free. If this message resonated with the deepest truth of your spirit, if you felt the hand of divine justice settling over your life like a warm, heavy blanket, if you know with absolute certainty that your sabotage has been seen and your journey has been secured, then claim this victory right now. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment below declaring that your journey is protected, that your purpose is unstoppable, and that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Speak it into existence. Let the universe hear you say, I am free. Let every dark corner know that the light has won. There is more blessing coming for you, Virgo, more elevation, more proof that God does not sleep. Stay faithful, stay focused, and let the world watch what happens when a Virgo walks in divine protection.